This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. The ruthlessness of the killing formation left Yunxiao at his wit's end. He was not in a hurry, but he was a little helpless. If the indestructible golden body could not withstand it, he could hide in the Divine Realm tablet, which was absolutely safe. The only problem was how to take the Agarine. Something gradually floated over from the distance. He fixed his eyes on it and saw that it was the calabash little King Kong. It was also struggling in the river water, waving its fists in all directions. It looked unusually clumsy, and the surface of its body was deformed by the pressure of the killing intent. Even a 9th-tier profound armament can't block it? Yunxiao was taken aback. He spread out his mental power and summoned the calabash little King Kong back into the Divine Realm tablet. Li Yunxiao, the demon dragon suddenly said. Do you remember the devil's all-out attack just now? The river was filled with devil water and energy. You mean to say that the demonic aura has corroded the river water, so the killing power of the array has been reduced? Yunxiao asked. What do you mean? That's a possibility. Demon, didn't you say that if the two of us don't cooperate, we'll die, he said in a deep voice. Why are you hiding now that it's your turn to cooperate? Don't tell me you only know how to talk and make others cooperate with you? He shouted several times before a cold voice came out of his body, this lord isn't as selfish as you. If you want my demonic chi, then take it. How much you can take is up to you. The fiend grinned hideously. In an instant, a large amount of fiend energy gushed out of Yunxiao's body and began to demonize him. Yunxiao's brows flickered as he sneered, you think you can demonize me again like this? His hands quickly formed a seal, and the power of the devil essence formed various patterns in his hands, which flew towards the river. In an instant, the water around him was dyed black, and the murderous aura was reduced. The demon was shocked and furious, how could this be, he roared. How do you know my MO skills? Where did you learn that? What Yunxiao used was just some simple devil arts, which only needed to guide the devil energy surging out of his body through his body. In his shock and anger, the devil tried to cut off the supply of devil essence, but it was too late. The power of the devil essence around him was now under Yunxiao's control. He was extremely weak after the previous blow, and at this moment, he had no strength to seize the control of the devil essence. This devil essence is actually so powerful. As the devil essence circulated in Yunxiao's body, he immediately felt the magnificence of the power, which washed his body over and over again and began to refine his body on its own. The true fiend Dharma idol left behind by the skeleton suddenly appeared in his mind, and he instantly felt his mind shake. A chaotic and hazy power had completely blinded his divine sense, and the entire world turned dark. The sun and moon had lost their light. Yunxiao was shocked. It was just the key to the true fiend Dharma idol, but it had already caused such an abnormal phenomenon. He hurriedly calmed himself down and circulated the ball of energy. At this moment, only this kind of energy could resist the fiend energy that had entered his body. The energy flowed along his 6 meridians and rushed to his forehead. The dark scene in front of him was instantly shattered, and the surroundings were restored to clarity. However, the demonic energy in his body began to circulate on its own after being activated, out of Yunxiao's control. It emitted waves of endless power, shaking his meridians and washing his internal organs. Such a powerful corrosive power can actually create such a lively scene. It's indeed the creation of life and death. Yunxiao was shocked. Since he had already started, he did not plan to stop. He began to cultivate according to the true fiend Dharma idol key formula. Moreover, once the demonic technique came to life, it would evolve on its own, and his body would gradually begin to show strange signs. True fiend Dharma idol, it's actually a true fiend Dharma idol. The demon's voice kept roaring in his body, but it was getting weaker and weaker, impossible, it's impossible to be defeated. Naturally, Yunxiao ignored the fiend. A huge force rushed out of his dantian and broke through the shackles of his body. The endless power circulated in his body, and a little bit of clarity emerged in his spiritual altar and sea of consciousness. He had actually mastered all the key techniques of true fiend Dharma idol. Clear, peace, split, waste. Yunxiao began to spit out devil runes, his face solemn. A Dharma form with 3 heads and 6 arms began to emerge on his back, its face dark green and cold, and its face red with anger. Its 4 arms kept waving in the air, and finally, it performed the same incantation gesture as Yunxiao's real body and placed them in front of its chest. Only then did the other 2 Dharma forms gradually calm down and their faces returned to normal. Circles of devil chi rippled from his body, and when the surrounding river water turned black, the murderous aura of the ominous formation was reduced to almost imperceptible levels. This way, we might be able to obtain the Agarine. Yunxiao suddenly opened his eyes, and so did the other 2 Dharma images. Their eyes were cold, and they turned into blood moons, shooting out powerful spiritual power. His body twisted with the space and disappeared from where he was, trying to teleport directly above the Agarine to take it away. Boom. The entire bottom of the river trembled, and the space above the Agarine rotated. Several strong lights struck from the distance in an instant, directly cutting the space and blasting into the void. The surroundings of the Agarine returned to its calm. Then, more than 10 meters away, the space twisted slightly, and Yunxiao's body emerged, his eyes filled with horror and a trace of blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. There was a trace of hostility in his eyes as he said angrily, "Even the law of the 4 seasons formation of the king-level immortal mountain can't kill me. I don't believe that this murderer can kill me." Yunxiao performed an incantation gesture with both hands and summoned the divine realm tablet, which transformed into a small mountain at the bottom of the river and pressed down on the neon stone. The Taihua gold talisman locking array suddenly made a hua-hua sound, and the whole river bottom surged. A vortex appeared above the Agarine, gathering all the power of the array in the river to resist the world power of the divine realm tablet. Although the formation was strong, it could not stop the world power from devouring it and was constantly being consumed. However, the Agarine began to change at this moment. It emitted rays of multicolored light that supplemented the formation. In an instant, the power of the world was stopped, and the entire riverbed became a 5-colored light. Yunxiao's face flickered. The power of the Agarine and the murderous array was beyond his expectation. Although the power exerted by the divine realm tablet was limited, it was the complete power of a realm. It was like a collision between 2 worlds, but it was still blocked by the array. It was simply incredible. Let's see how far you can go. A hint of killing intent appeared on Yunxiao's face, and so did the other 2 Dharma images, their 6 hands forming different incantations. 5 rays of light suddenly flew out of his body, emitting a powerful weapon power that shook away the surrounding black river water and slowly fell into his 5 arms. They were the cold sword, ice frost, the great sorrow twilight cloud treasure mirror, the hammer, the dynasty bell, and the 1,000-year overlord saber. He conjured an art to his left and right, and the other 5 beasts each held a profound level weapon. They began to pour their power into it, and a terrifying pressure spread in all directions. Other than the Northern Heaven Cold Star sword from the Heavenly Sword picture, he had displayed all of his offensive treasures. "What?" the demonic dragon said in horror, "You're using 5 profound level weapons at the same time and controlling the divine realm tablet at the same time. Are you crazy? It'll suck your essence, chi, and spirit dry in an instant." Yunxiao's face turned pale, and a crazed look appeared in his eyes as he said with a hideous smile, "Don't you find it interesting?" He picked up the mirror with one arm and immediately shot out a ray of light. When it was a few feet away from the Agarine, it encountered an invisible force and directly refracted the mirror light, bouncing it into the distance. Clang! Clang! The dynasty bell, which had not been used for a long time, produced a powerful sound wave force that shook the entire river bottom. The sound wave pushed the water ripples forward, pressing forward like waves. Then, the golden tadpole-like characters emerged on the hammer, and the power of thunder and lightning flickered. An arm was raised high and suddenly smashed out. A hell of thunder and lightning appeared, rushing toward the neon stone with irresistible force. The ice sword and the 1,000 Autumn's tyrannical saber were infused with powerful elemental energy at the same time. They trembled continuously, and the saber radiance and sword chi reflected each other as they slashed out at the same time. 5 ninth-tier mystic artifacts and the Divine Realm tablet burst out at the same time, immediately causing the river water to boil. With the pressure of the mystic artifacts, the entire river water split into two, starting from the bottom of the river to the top. The earth shook and the mountains shook, revealing a vacuum zone. This? A shocked voice came from somewhere at the bottom of the river. A pair of eagle-like eyes suddenly opened, full of shock and fear. Go Yueguang had guarded the bottom of the river for decades and had never seen such a strange phenomenon. He suddenly split the river water with a blade light and rushed to the place where the incident happened. Above the river, Go Riguang and Go Xingguang were also dumbfounded. They watched as the river split in half, and then Yunxiao's true fiend Dharma idol with 3 heads and 6 arms appeared in front of them as he walked toward the Agarine step by step. The combined power of the 6 profound level weapons kept attacking the Taihua Golden Talisman locking array, the Divine Realm tablet pressed down madly, and the power of the 5 9th grade profound level weapons hovered around, attacking the Agarine in waves. Boom. Finally, the formation showed signs of breaking. Once the balance was broken, a violent force immediately swept through everything. The water that had been split on both sides rushed into the sky like a wild beast, reaching a height of several thousand feet, covering the sky. Pa! Yunxiao finally grabbed the Agarine with one hand, and suddenly, an unparalleled force penetrated through his palm into his body, like a sharp knife swimming along his meridians and trying to cut him apart. Fuck you, what the hell is this? Originally, after using 6 profound level weapons, his entire body's essence, chi and spirit had been emptied out. But now, he was forcefully injected with this inexplicable power. Not only was it incomparably powerful, but it was also extremely painful. Yunxiao was in so much pain that his eyes almost popped out of their sockets. A wisp of power gushed out of his eyes in an instant, and with a twist of the space, the neon stone was directly shaken up and sucked into the Divine Realm tablet. Voila! As soon as the Agarine disappeared at the bottom of the river, the strange force in the entire space suddenly disappeared. The shocking waves that rose up in the sky instantly fell down, and the vacuum zone that was torn apart also began to flow back. It was as if 2 dams had collapsed in an instant, pressing down on each other. The huge force surged, and the entire sky near the Nihon Bridge was covered with a strange rain. All the orchards and farms were destroyed, and the earth cracked. To Yunxiao's surprise, his exhausted essence, chi, and spirit were nourished to a certain extent after he held the Agarine, which was a phenomenon caused by the strange force. His body was pushed away by the waves, and a huge whirlpool immediately appeared, spinning him around. After losing control of the 6 profound level weapons, they instantly turned into 6 rays of light and rushed into his body. The true fiend Dharma idol also disappeared in an instant, returning to its normal appearance. Thunder Water Blade. A fierce killing intent came over, and the vortex was suddenly cut open. Boundless saber beams shuttled back and forth in the water, surrounding Yunxiao and twisting him up. The Emperor Qi in the blade light was so strong that he couldn't teleport away. In a hurry, he took out the Sunset Cloud Treasure Mirror with his right hand and began to make hand seals with his left hand. The Sunset Cloud Treasure Mirror suddenly split into 2, then 4, and more than 10 mirrors appeared around him. His body also slowly disappeared under the mirror light. Bang 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 bang. Countless blade glints arrived and bombarded the mirrors. A large number of them were reflected back, but the remaining force passed through and wreaked havoc in the mirror array. Clang clang. Yunxiao's body materialized when he was hit by the saber beam, which was hidden in the void. The demonic sky armor appeared to be several times larger than his body, and he blocked the saber beam. Seemingly affected by the devil essence, the power of the armor was even stronger than before. Pfft. All the mirrors were shattered by the blade beam, and Yunxiao's internal organs were damaged by the backlash. He coughed up a mouthful of blood that melted in the water. Who are you? He actually broke the Taihua Gold Talisman locking formation and took the Agarine. Quickly put down your resistance and follow me to see the Red Moon City Master. The figure of Moonlight emerged from the water, staring at Yunxiao with bright eyes, trying to get a clear look at the young man. Of the three brothers of the Go family, Go Yueguang was the strongest and had the toughest heart. He had always been cultivating underwater as the guardian of the formation. He also understood how terrifying this formation was. Although his face was cold, his heart was filled with shock. Yunxiao sneered and threw the Divine Realm tablet out, which immediately turned into a towering mountain and pressed down on the bottom of the river, stirring up waves. This steel is a world of its own. If you want me to go with you, sure. If you have the ability, then go inside and catch me. Yunxiao gave a mocking smile, then turned into a beam of light and rushed into the boundary steel. Go Yueguang's eyes widened as he exclaimed, "What? Self-created world? Humph, a self-created world, isn't that a transcendent grade profound level weapon?" He leaned over in disbelief. His divine sense swept over the Divine Realm tablet, but it was swallowed up like a sea of water. Devouring divine sense? As expected, he had some skills. Although I don't believe in this so-called self-created world, it seems like that kid really disappeared. Go Yueguang's expression darkened. Suddenly, the sound of water could be heard and two figures landed. It was Go Xingguang and Go Riguang, both of them with shocked expressions. "What happened, second brother?" asked Go Xingguang in shock. "Was I seeing things just now? I actually saw Li Yunxiao take off the Agarine." Go Yueguang glanced at him and said, "Since Big Brother has already seen it, there is no need to doubt your own eyes. Just where did this person come from to be able to break the Taihua Gold Seal lock formation? This is truly heaven-piercing." Cold sweat dripped down Go Xingguang's back as he hurriedly explained the whole story. Dumbfounded, he asked, who could have expected him to have such abilities? Go Yueguang's face was filled with anger as he reproached, "Big Brother's heart is too impetuous. What's wrong with cultivating here in peace? Do you have to return to the city to be comfortable?" The city lord had repeatedly warned them that this place was extremely important, and the Taihua Gold Talisman locking array had been set up by many array masters. How are we going to explain this to the city lord? Go Xingguang was also quite frightened. He shivered and said, "It's all my fault for being muddle-headed. I thought it was just a convenient help, but I'm really done for. It's better for us to escape before anyone finds us. With our abilities, if we insist on hiding, even the Red Moon City may not be able to find us." Go Yueguang muttered to himself for a moment before saying, "Let's wait and see. That brat hid inside after throwing out the jade tablet. If we can catch him and hand him over to the city lord, we can make up for it with our contributions." Go Riguang sized up the Divine Realm tablet and said in a strange tone, "Big brother, second brother, you can hide inside this thing? Let's see if I can split it open." Go Yueguang and the other man didn't stop him and let him cut the river with a loud shout. The entire river was cut off and flowed against the current into the sky, but it couldn't shake the Divine Realm tablet at all. This time, the three people's expressions changed drastically. With the power of sunlight hooking, even a 9th-tier profound armament would be able to leave a mark on it. Go Yueguang's expression darkened as he said, "No matter what's inside the monument, I have to take the risk. This is our only chance to make up for our mistakes, or else we'll have to flee for our lives." "All right." Go Xingguang gritted his teeth. "I don't believe that the three of us can't even take down a teenager." The three of them nodded firmly and instantly turned into 3 rays of light, rushing to the Divine Realm tablet. The light on the tablet flashed and the 3 of them disappeared. Suddenly, Yunxiao's figure flew out of the Divine Realm tablet with a laugh on his face. 3 idiots. I didn't think it would be so easy to deal with. I'll let them play around in the Divine Realm tablet for a while. I'll play with them after I get the Moon Pearl from the East Sea and leave the Red Moon City." He took a deep breath and flew out of the river. When he looked down, he was stunned. The Nihong Bridge, the orchard, and the farm below were all destroyed. The ground was also cracked and the river water began to flow in all directions. It was estimated that it would not be long before this place was flooded into a lake. Looking at the time, it's already the day of the gathering of the heroes. Let's first find a place to recover our yuan power before going to the Red Moon City. If things don't go well, we'll cause trouble again. He quickly flew into the distance, away from the place where the Bridge of Rainbows was. Fortunately, the spiritual energy in Red Moon City was almost the highest in the eastern region, no less than that in Yanwu, so it was very fast to recover. At this moment, in Red Moon City, a large number of young talents had already gathered in front of the Wind and Moon building. As long as they were qualified to enter, their status would immediately double and their fame would rise. However, not everyone could enter. Everyone was waiting bitterly, hoping to get a qualification. There is a cool breeze for those who enter my building, and for me to drink it, there is only the bright moon. Just as everyone was anxiously waiting and discussing in low voices, two white-robed men suddenly appeared in the air. One was gently waving a feather fan, and the other was holding a jade-like hand. They walked over with light steps. His white clothes fluttered despite the lack of wind, and he had an imposing appearance, giving him the demeanor of an aristocratic family. One of them laughed and said, "It's indeed a good poem. Brother Ge's name is Qingfeng, and it seems that you have a deep connection with this building. I believe you should be able to enter for a while." The young man named Ge Qingfeng laughed and said, "We're here together, so we'll naturally advance together. I don't expect to gain anything today, but I just want to meet the heroes of the world and verify what I've learned. That's enough." The two of them smiled at each other and were about to fly into the Wind and Moon Hotel. "Stop." A faint voice was heard and Ning Hongfeng's figure gradually appeared. He looked at them emotionlessly and said, "Minions and dregs are not allowed to enter." "What?" The white-robed young master's face darkened as he said angrily, "We're both at the peak of the martial emperor realm, and we're only a step away from becoming martial honors. This lord keeps calling us minions and dregs. He's looking down on us too much." Ning Hengfeng raised his hand and slapped it out. A strong gust of wind immediately froze the white-robed man. With a bang, he was shot out like a cannonball, instantly turning into a streak of light and disappearing into the horizon. Large beads of sweat trickled down Ge Qingfeng's face. His lips moved slightly as he sent a voice transmission, "Darren, please make an exception. I am only trying to gain a bit of reputation and increase the sect's attention. As long as you let me in, I'll definitely reward you with 100 million mid-grade origin stones." 100 million medial-grade primordial stones was already enough for him to sell all his profound-level weapons and belongings. However, for the sake of face and honor, Ge Qingfeng was willing to risk it. Without a word, Ning Hengfeng sent out another palm. Ge Qingfeng was shocked and said, "No, don't, my lord. 200 million, 200 million. He was so shocked that he didn't even bother to transmit his voice and directly shouted out. Boom. As Ning Hongfeng's palm struck down, a muffled sound came from the space. A black spatial crack immediately appeared and swallowed Ge Qingfeng. Then, everything returned to normal as if nothing had happened. The two people's tragic departure made everyone reveal looks of disdain and ridicule. Many people directly laughed out loud, laughing so hard that they couldn't close their mouths. Ning Hengfeng looked at the people below coldly and shouted, "Back off." He shouted. The martial emperor's qi on his body pressed down unceremoniously. The people below immediately scattered like birds and beasts with a whoosh. After that, a few rays of light flew into the surroundings. There were a total of 8 people, all of whom had the cultivation base of a 9 heavens martial sovereign. They surrounded the bright moon cool breeze brothel and began to cast spells before flying into it. The 2 buildings that stood side by side instantly bloomed with 9-colored light, and the bridge in the middle was like a dragon lying in the sky. The rain and the rainbow appeared at the same time, creating a beautiful scene. There is a cool breeze for those who enter my building, and for me to drink it, there is only the bright moon. In a restaurant not far away, a young man with an extraordinary appearance looked at the 2 buildings and the strange scenery. He chuckled and said, "This poem alone shows the noble and pure spirit of the Red Moon City. No one can compare to it, just like the bright moon and clear wind of the eastern region, leading the group." Another man walked up. He was dressed in linen clothes, and his face looked as if it had been smeared with lime. His appearance was also quite strange. He stood shoulder to shoulder with the man and looked at the building. He revealed an ugly smile and said, "What's wrong? Does Brother Lifeng have a problem with the leadership of the Red Moon City and the Eastern region?